Hello, and welcome back to SpaceChem. Time for Cernimere 2. World 1-2, I suppose. Slightly different. With a training segment, but no new story. Atoms and molecules. Atoms are the building blocks of all matter. Atoms of the same element have the same properties. Oxygen, carbon, and iron are examples of elements. Molecules consist of one or more atoms joined by bonds. A molecule is manipulated by Waldo as a single unit. Water, methane, and salt are examples of molecules. These molecules are all the same, right? So it doesn't matter what orientation you have. You've got hydrogen linked to carbon, hydrogen linked to carbon. Carbons have a triple bond between them. As long as you've got that structure, it is the same thing. These molecules are all different, right? So different numbers of elements, different numbers of atoms, rather. Obviously makes it different, but also seeing the way the bonds are done makes a difference as well. The identity of a molecule is determined by the type of its atoms and their bonds. Rotation and the angle of bonds do not change the molecule's identity. Okay. Into the puzzle. To solve this puzzle, we will use the blue Waldo, which behaves identically to the red Waldo, but executes only blue instructions. Not quite identical. I seem to recall that obviously there's going to be a sequence to things, so if both Waldos try to do something at the same time, the red one happens first. That is something I do remember from those awful optimization days 10 years ago. Red goes first before blue. Pretty simple. Basically never relevant until it is. To create a blue beta input, drop a red alpha input instruction and right-click on it. Okay, so we're going to go red alpha. Right-click, blue layer. Also, I do know I can hold down R and click, and it just does it that way. I'm deliberately doing this a little bit slower for the tutorial missions, but I'll be a lot faster once I get into the past the first planet, probably. I'll start doing hotkeys for things. All right, to solve this puzzle, we need. All right, so I have to click on this and make it into a beta. Right. You can switch to drop blue instructions instead of red instructions by pressing the tab key or clicking the blue active button in the layers control. So I can do it that way. I can hit tab, switch it around. It's fine. So double click. I can do it that way. Oops, I should read this. While the red Waldo defaults to the top and the blue Waldo defaults to the bottom, neither Waldo can go anywhere either Waldo can go anywhere in the reactor and use every input and output. To modify instructions, remember to right-click. Finish this reaction program by dropping the hydrogen molecule into the omega output zone and flushing it out through the output. So hydrogen in, hydrogen out. This is essentially identical to the previous mission, except that they're going to let us do that. So if I wanted to keep all this, because if I change any of this, this will pop back up. I do remember that from playing around with stuff. Hydrogen. So keeping the basic structure that we have here, let's just optimize this as much as we can. So we're going to grab it from there. Oh, instead of here. Okay, well, I guess if we have to grab there, then never mind. What I was thinking isn't going to work, so we're just going to do it this way. That's fine. Drop output. You know, let's check something. Is this gonna do an output every single turn if I just have the Waldo sitting on the end? Let's see. Yes. Okay. This should be functionally identical to putting the output omega here, because blue is dropping, then red is activating omega when blue moves here and activates this node. So doing it there instead of here doesn't actually make a difference, but I learned something. I kind of like watching it play out, so I'm not gonna go 3 or 4 unless I'm testing something that's really long. Yep. So, I mean, pretty standard all the way across. crossover. I can only imagine. I have a pretty good idea what that's going to be. Check that out next time. I will see you then.